Greetings and welcome to the Safing live stream. I am so excited that we have done this for so often now that I feel like even if we rush into it because we're in the middle of other stuff, it still works. So yes, TCH is already here as well.
Great.
So yeah, thank you. We're off running, I guess, today. As most of you will have seen, I left the title out for today because mainly we want to keep this a bi-weekly thing. Be here, be available for you to talk to us, and even if I don't know what to talk about in advance. The typical topics, of course, can always be the current stuff we have in beta, the stuff
we're working on.
We're currently working on, stuff we're thinking about, and stuff we talked about and have changed our minds about, which is what I would start with today. Wait, what?
No, it's all good.
All is good? Okay.
All is well.
So if you've been here 2 weeks ago, you know that I think before you arrived, I talked about the potential of maybe us doing some merch and doing some stuff. We looked into it, and I also said the last time we are only going to do this if the quality is great. And so we knew what t-shirts we wanted, and we knew that they are printing on t-shirts. But what we did not know back then is that they do not print on the t-shirts that we wanted. So this will not be happening. We might do some...
It won't be happening in the way we want it to happen.
Exactly. So. We might be open for alternatives. We looked into Spreadshirts. I know I've kept talking about Spreadshirts in the past. I have ordered stuff from Spreadshirt. It was okay. Not sure if I'm okay with it.
The quality is good,
okay.
It's not amazing.
Exactly.
That's the thing.
What is cool, of course, is that they ship to the States and to Europe. So we are in Austria, as I keep on sprinkling in. I put a lot of Austria flags in my chat thingamajig so that people understand. We're not in the States.
We could put an Austrian flag somewhere in the background.
No. For the people who don't know, I think Austria as well as Germany is not very
patriotic.
Patriotic, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't even own an Austria flag, so no, whatever. We're not gonna do that.
I think I don't own one either.
See,
that's true. Well, time to change that. we could put one of those really small flags, like vertical, and you put it on the desk. We just put it back there somewhere.
Or on top here, where we put all the Easter eggs in. No, so we will see. Overall, to get back on topic, so this won't be happening, and I wanted to give you an update because I was only talking about it, I think, on the live stream, maybe a little bit on Discord as well. We might look into it later, but we'll see. It's not a priority, has never been, and so I don't want to spend more time trying to figure this out. Maybe a Spreadshirt store will open up. If you have a great design, you want us, like safing related design, you want us to put on a shirt, we might just do that. I thought about maybe doing the tombstone with rest in peace VPNs with the crow on top of it. That's my wife said we should do that. And so maybe that's just the one that we start with. We will see. Just because it's fun. I also, of course, like our logo, and maybe we would order some with our logo on. So if we do it for us, you can have it as well most of the time.
Yeah, also depends what we do. Like if we have a really nice design, we can put it big on the front, like here.
Esk already said he does not want a big one.
But yeah, we might just do small ones, with just a small logo here.
Yeah.
But yeah, that are the t-shirts that where I think that quality gets even more important.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I'm thinking mugs would be something where I would be more comfortable with overall. Mugs and coasters. Just because I like mugs and coasters. And stickers, of course. So stickers for water bottles and something. I don't know. Okay. So this was a quick update on that note. But
yeah, I think mugs and stickers are easy to start with.
Yeah. Exactly. but I'm sorry, we won't do the very cool fancy t-shirts, at least not for now. If they will happen, we will see. We might still, and this is something I think we can share as well, we might still do a little end of the year, once per year thing where we offer some stuff that's typically not offered. On the Discord, I think I already shared with at least the contributors the idea, I floated the idea that we might do something like adopting an SPN node, where people who would want to name an SPN node but don't want the hassle of hosting it themselves, that they can adopt an SPN node and sort of like basically pay for the node and like get SPN access as well. So it would be a little bit more than just the SPN access itself, but it would be a package of some sorts, and they can name the node and have an input on where the node would go and stuff like that. And we would figure this out with that person. If you're interested in that, reach out. But this will probably be something where we would do a couple of nodes now. And it would be mainly focused on us at the moment, but I can see us doing this maybe similar to other companies who have done that as a fundraiser for other privacy companies in the future. We're still a small operation, so for us it's not something where we're like support all the others. We're not that big at the moment either, but I can see something like that. If this is an annual thing, that we can grow it beyond this. And I feel like giving a node a name is sort of like having your stamp on the thing, for everybody to see. You supported this and it is a service for the community, and it would be a support for us, and I feel like this would be a win-win situation. And so I'm thinking about stuff like that, but we haven't done it yet. You want to share my idea for Black Friday?
Let me think about if I remember it correctly.
Okay.
Maybe you do it.
So I feel like this is a thing. I'm typically, and this is how our roles are split as well. I'm doing all the operational stuff, so I have those. Those are my realm, and you will keep on talking if we're talking about technical things. Yeah. So to get this out ahead at the beginning, we will not do a Black Friday sale. We don't, like, for us from a cost perspective, it does not make a huge amount of sense to like discount for Black Friday. This is something that won't be happening, not like the 69 thing during what was it, Valentine's Day, like that sale. We won't repeat that probably either, so we will see how that is going. But what we thought was, because Black Friday is a huge shopping time, we thought about giving our subscribers gift card codes so that they can gift, maybe it's just a 2-week gift card or something, but that they can gift SPN access to their loved ones so that they have like safer browsing, safer shopping through those crazy times. We're not 100% sure how we do it. I guess we could email everybody who has an email in their account, but at the moment, I think we are not 100% clear about that we would use that email for anything beside password reset. We have never sent an email to those email addresses before, so I have no clue if they work. But I think what we will do is, my plan would be to announce maybe end of September, or maybe mid-October, and then give everybody till mid-November to sign up and add an email address if they want, or delete the email address if they don't want, and then send everything out on the 15th of November or something, because I think Black Friday is the week after, the 22nd, and those would be basically some gift card codes, so that you can share your SPN subscription with other people so that they can have easier access as well, and are protected, so that if they shop presents for you, privacy is a we thing, as they can shop it privately as well. So that's the whole idea here. So Innovative Dev is asking, so basically I just buy like 1 or 2 years dedicated server for VPS and you manage all the technical part for it. Is that the idea? If so, that's fire. Yeah, I think that's basically the idea.
Yeah, like, yes, basically that's the idea. The details we'll figure out. So, for example, we're gonna see like who actually buys the server, because we want to make sure like who has access to the server.
Yeah.
So it is easier for us if we buy the servers. So that probably easier, but maybe could do both models depending on how things are.
And how they develop over time.
yeah. So, but
For now,
definitely, it's not gonna be kind of a mass thing. Gonna be like finding a custom solution for everyone who wants to do it.
Exactly.
In regards to the needs and like also like where the server is supposed to be.
Yeah.
Because like if there's a provider that doesn't speak German or English, then we're gonna have troubles interacting with them. So maybe someone could actually be an intermediary, and actually do all the kind of ordering and payments and stuff like that, and we'll just deploy the software and manage the server. So in that case, that might be easier. But then we'll probably not grant that server trusted status, so it won't handle ungood connections and stuff like that. That's things we'll have to figure out and see how we'll do it.
And I guess Innovative Dev, if the people speak French, I guess we can reach out to you. Who knows? I don't speak any French. My wife does some, but who knows?
I think we have a couple of servers with the biggest French provider already. So they do speak sufficiently English.
Yeah. And this has not been too much of a case. Like I think English is most. I mean,
there are a couple of weird providers where
there are so many.
One of them like from Italy, and like some parts of their sites are only in Italian, and then like all the billing stuff is weird. So yeah.
Which is of course okay. We figured out that apparently hosting providers and stuff like that, they don't like are very much B2C, and we are like buying in a very much B2C capacity because we don't want 100 servers at their location. We don't ship something down like truckloads and stuff. Yeah. We want
one server in every of their locations.
One server in every of their locations, exactly. Maybe 2 in the future. But because we want to spread stuff out, this is how and we want basically sort of a min-max server there as well, with great connectivity, but from a resource perspective, we basically need like
not
little.
That much.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's always interesting. But thank you, Innovative Dev, on YouTube for the comment. If you want to reach out, say something, and we can get in touch. We might even figure out a label inside the SPN as well. I think we can manage that, like adopt it or something like that, or where it's definitely. Provided by or something. If you already are thinking about doing stuff like that, I'd love to get feedback on what you would want to see in that, that people like that the attribution is correct, or what you would want to use it, like what would be your end of the idea of the deal, and what would be your ideas, because I just had that idea for the longest time where I'm like, I feel like people want to contribute it in that way as well, hosting a node. I do stuff like that in other projects as well, and it's just would be a service and an idea on both sides. Mike said gifting is a great idea, and I feel so as well. We are almost like we looked at this I think yesterday. SPN, like Portmaster V1, is almost a year out, and so we basically launched SPN officially holiday season. This was not for marketing reasons or anything. It was just because it just happened like that. We finished work like that. We always think we're faster, but then everything takes longer. As you've seen during that summer, we thought this would all be out a little bit earlier, but then everything came together. But in regards to like now coming into the holiday season again, we look at it differently. We look at it from what, not just we're done and sort of like people can start using it now, but now we're looking like, okay, now they have used it. What service can we provide for them that's beyond us? And so this is where we're like, okay, good. How, like, we don't want to get new users in necessarily. Always great. If you're new, please subscribe. But what service can we bring to the people who are already part of our community, who are already part of this, and who would want to maybe, like, as Mike was saying, like gifting it. But how can we do that? If they're already like contributing to the project for so long, how can we help them? And we felt like gift cards is a cool idea.
Yeah.
Also, Mike, because you said because I see you're watching, if you have a cool idea for a design, because I know you had some great ideas in regards to the Valentine's sale, I feel like if we could have something that people can print out and write the gift card code on that would be great. I think it will be only a PDF that we will provide. I can't, like, making this automatic with the code inside is something that I would not consider doing. I think this might be overkill for the amount of work it already is. Us sending out those emails all manually. But yeah, so that's basically something that we think of. Maybe in the announcement blog post we can put a PDF on the bottom and then people can print it out and just write the code in and then gift it to somebody. Yeah. Maybe with a little explanation why it's important, like privacy matters and privacy is a we thing. That's
true. That's pretty cool, kind of, too. Also, not only just gift something, but actually gift the idea of privacy and how it works in a community or society, and why it's important to do it together. Kind of to explain, like, why this gift. I think that's a very neat idea.
Yeah. And I feel like our community is, like, well versed enough that we can come up with something very cool that actually is maybe in multiple languages. That would be cool. If somebody who's like, we can do, of course, something in German and in English, but if you have like something that you would want to write in your language, that would be great. Yeah.
Well, TCH wrote privacy is a we thing. Sounds really communistic.
Okay. Our privacy. No, this is. I think it's like from Firewalls Don't Stop Dragons. His name just dropped. Like he says it all the time, and I like how he says it. Like with all those shadow profiles out there and everything, you need to be like. It is a we thing, and I think on a Discord we had a conversation about like there will always be a picture of you, even if it's in the background or like with the Google car driving by or whatever. Like it's basically taking pictures all the time, you know.
Yeah.
They have been driving around Austria, I think, last year quite a lot. So this is the reason why I'm saying it.
I'm just thinking. I just read an article about. I don't remember what it is. I think it was something with a building complex. So I think it was a shopping center or something. And they were like, they can like trace everyone in their shopping center, and they can just take a picture of LinkedIn, and see when exactly this person was in there. So that is like pretty scary.
In Austria, Shopping City Süd, like south of Vienna, they have like stereoscopic cameras on the ceiling. Yeah.
Oh, crazy.
If you go through the shopping center, they serve stereoscopic so that they can scan your face and stuff. Yeah, no, scary. Yeah. I hate it.
It'd be interesting to look at their terms of service, where that data goes to, because they've recently been bought by this other huge shopping.
Westfield?
Yeah, shopping center.
They have been. They belong to the Westfield for the longest time. They just
Really, they just rebranded it now.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they
I know
belonged to them for the longest time.
Okay.
So they were already in charge when they added those cameras
Okay.
in.
Okay, so they were the reason. I see. That's not comforting. So yeah, but well, yeah, privacy is a weird thing, and it may sound communistic, but it is everything that we want to achieve is a weird thing. So you could say democracy is a weird thing. Because if only a couple of people who want to do democracy and others won't, then you don't have one. So easy.
I don't think we should go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, okay.
If anyone
let's stop here. Let's stop
exactly,
here. Okay.
exactly.
Okay.
Do you want to talk about, like, we recently added a couple of features for the history module. Do you want to talk about what's, like, how this came to be, what the thinking was, and how we continue on that route
Sure.
that you're currently working on?
What exactly you're thinking about?
No, we just
the last
released-
thing we added was the searching via for time range.
Exactly, for time range. Of
okay.
course, this should have been maybe a feature for a little bit longer, but we just
Yeah,
added it.
everything is iterative here. So.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So with the last update 1.46, which is unstable, you can instead of just toggling search history on off, you actually enter a time range, because like if you keep history for a year, that will both slow searching that, and you'll get lots of stuff you're not looking for. So now you can select a time range and be like, okay, let's search the last week, and then you just only get results for that time range. So
the default is not a year. The default, I think, is 30
yeah,
days.
the default is 30 days. So if you haven't changed that setting, there's a setting that controls how long you keep the history. That is controllable by per application.
If you want to keep longer records for a specific application, I guess for you, preferably one that does not have like tons of connections, so that it's not like writing like a lot of connections down to
you don't
disk.
you don't want a terabyte of history, network history. It's gonna be slowish.
That's true. Exactly. And of course, it will take some time till you have a terabyte. But if you have, I don't know, your browser in there, I guess it increases very fast.
Yeah. Or like things that we try connections often. So, so especially developers have like tools running that often connect to each other for like debugging stuff and like hot reloading and all that things. So it's a lot of stuff that can add to that pretty quick.
Mm-hmm. And the usefulness, of course, is low. So the 30
Yeah.
days, the idea behind 30 days, and if you have a different opinion, please let us know in the comments or in Discord. But we chose 30 days because we thought, like, okay, a week might be not enough, but a month is basically every connection should be in there that this application makes. And so if your goal is to set, like, be a little bit, like, have more information to make the rules, then this should be enough. So if you only sort of like grow into it, and if you don't actually want to go deep into one application, and if you want to, then please go ahead and increase the time anyway. But we are always thinking of this sweet spot for all the settings we do. And so the 10 minutes we thought is the sweet spot in regards to how much RAM it is using and stuff. And the 30 days we think is a sweet spot in terms of how much disk space it is using and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Of course, we can increase and decrease that, but we felt it's a good option.
Yeah. So that's what we've added in 1.4.6. And 1.4.7, which already in beta, has a couple fixes for the SPN. That was actually an exciting one, because we've now added a new way how Portmaster connects to the network. So previously we've only used just a normal TCP connection on port 17. or another port as advertised by the nodes. But that has led to problems here and there because it is an uncommon port, and some providers even block it, at least server providers.
Do you want to tell people what, I think we've said this already, but port 17, what it is actually for?
So port 17 is actually something called, so it's actually a port that is defined by the Internet Authority on Numbers. And it's assigned to the quote of the day protocol. So if you open, it's a really, really old one. So if you open a connection to that port with that server running, it'll just reply with the quote of the day. And it was historically used just as kind of a debugging thing.
Checking.
Yeah, checking.
Are you still there?
It's kind of a nicer version of ping.
Yeah.
An inspiring version of ping, maybe. So, but I think a couple providers block it not because of us, but because, of course, you only send a kind of just open a connection, and it sends stuff back. So that's the classic thing that criminals use to amplify their distributed denial of service attacks. So they just send a small packet and can get a big packet back to whoever they want to target. So that's kind of, and we're using this port 17 because that historically SPN once was called gate 17.
Because we already wanted to take that port.
Yeah. So 17 is just a beautiful number. I love it. So you'll also see 17 as reference in a lot of places in Portmaster. So whenever you see the magic number 17 in your system somewhere, if it's an IP address or a port or something like that, chances are that Portmaster is involved somewhere in that. So that's something you can look out for. So new way to connect is we use HTTP, but we only use it for creating the connection. So if any one of you have know about WebSockets, that's kind of a protocol that websites use to create a connection to their server where they can send data over a normal network connection, because HTTP is strictly request response, at least the HTTP one. And so WebSockets kind of creates this normal network connection, and we do something very similar. We just send a HTTP request to the server and be like, oh, I'd like to upgrade this connection to the SPM protocol. And the server replies with, oh yeah, sure, let's just replace this connection with the SPM protocol. And then they switch. So what's really cool is that this is compatible to a high degree with the HTTP infrastructure. Of course, if they support connection upgrades like with WebSockets. But then we just switch back to the normal SPN protocol. So it's just kind of one request more. We're compatible. We use a really common port 80. And also, you'll be not as easily blocked from that because pretty much no one blocks port 80 because that's just
stupid.
A really, really common port.
Yeah.
And
maybe then, just as clarification, just to get that out there again, there's no data in that request. And there will no data be sent. So it's not something where a new attack angle can be open or something. It's strictly hey, upgrade, and if the server does not respond with yes, then there is no data being sent afterwards. So to be clear.
So it's kind of just a new way to use that. And what's really cool about this too is that because HTTP kind of as a framework, we can actually have many different entry points on one port, so we can add different ways of connecting. Also kind of increasing our resilience to our connections being detected. So we can actually maybe use WebSockets at one point. And also what's really cool is if anyone just enters the IP address in their browser and that server, that community node or node is listening on port 80, then SPN will reply with an info page about the SPN. So it'll be like, hey, you reached an SPN node. And
just so
what
you
is SPN? How does it work? What goals are? Some information for people that are tracking bad activity, what to expect, stuff like that. Also, if you've configured like the contact information in your community node, then it will display that. So whoever is trying to investigate something can contact you, stuff like that. So very helpful for people investigating what is going on. And will also hopefully lead to less requests by people investigating malicious activity, because they see, like, okay, it's SPN, so there's no sense in even contacting that guy because they don't even have the data anyway.
Yeah. TCH is saying that this info page is really cool. It's also cool because sometimes people who are like scared about leaks and think that their IP address is like leaking, we typically say, well, what is your IP address? And what we can now then tell those people is put that IP address in your browser. Yeah. And what they then see is,
oh, that's an SPN node.
That's the node. So the leak test is wrong. The leak test thinks, gotcha, got your real IP address, here it is. And when you check it, then it's, no, it's an SPN node. And the leak test is actually erroneous. And this is the most, like, those requests, like, those people are sort of like quiet at the moment, but there are periods where so many people come in and tell me, oh no, I found a leak. And every time they just like had an SPN node as the leaked IP address. Yeah. And so we're like, well, you're still protected. I wanted to, because Modest Beast said it twice already, and I saw it for the first time. So welcome, Modest Beast. I did not want to interrupt Daniel through his explanation. Modest Beast is asking regarding a light mode. There is, like, we're not working on a light mode at the moment. We're, for basically the same reason why we're not working on a different language at the moment. We are just focusing on the technical stuff, the UX part, like the experience, and of course having a light mode is experience as well. And we understand, and we're sorry for all those people who have difficulty like with dark mode stuff. We understand, we hear you. We are also getting sometimes requests from people who are blind, and in regards to adding some stuff for making their software easier to work. We are aware of that. We want to build towards that, but we are, just from a size perspective, if we would have 10 times the resources, of course, tomorrow, we would start working on it.
Yeah.
But like from our current perspective, we can just like go one step after the other and build, like, having every feature we add, doing it in multiple like color schemes, and light mode just is another color scheme, and another language that's just like double and triple and 4 times the work.
Also more maintenance afterwards, because every change you make, you have to like check, does it work in every theme?
Exactly.
All that stuff. So.
And so this is the reason why we're not. Yeah.
Adds in many aspects to a workload.
Yeah.
And right now we're just trying to push forward.
Yeah.
And
get all the features we want.
Exactly.
And then add all the themes people want.
Yeah.
So first get the features and then get the themes, because then we only have to check them once. And of course,
we'll iterate after that, but there will be features after themes.
Yes.
But right now, with the skill we have, there's only so many things we can focus on, and we believe that it makes more sense to build features and themes right now.
Yeah. Especially because each, as you said, each feature iteration afterwards will take more time. So the cost of everything in the future would go up.
Yeah.
And so we try to keep the cost down. This is also why we're like, okay, macOS is like still further out and stuff like that. We focus means we are only focusing on the distros we're currently on. Also a reason why we're not working on NixOS or something like that.
Or Silverblue or...
Exactly. But NixOS just has a pull request, and I think they were working on it or something, and
really?
they stopped it again, and then they sort of like pushed it to us again, and I'm like, well, we're not gonna open this up. We are trying to focus on our community, trying to figure out like where those people are and what they need, and as I said from the get-go. TCH a little while back, but I saw it asked if like the dashboard shows 30 minutes. Is this something that can be configured as well?
My first question is, where do you get the 30 minutes from?
Great question. I don't know either.
Because
it should be 10.
It should be 10.
Yeah.
Because like there's pretty much two like data stores of like connections. There's kind of the live thing, that's everything that happened in the last 10 minutes. That means also
everything that's open and currently and has been closed within the last 10 minutes.
Exactly. So everything that happened,
because I think maybe
a connection that ended is still happened at that point. So everything that existed within the last 10 minutes in some way.
Exactly. So if a connection is longer open, if you have a long download, like a Steam download or something, this connection can be an hour long, and so it will stay in there for the whole
days
hour.
Even.
I don't know
I've seen that.
Yeah, back in the day.
No.
What sort of internet do you have at home?
Not downloads, but just kind of even just GitHub, like with their browser tabs, just having an open connection to GitHub.
And you don't, he's not rebooting his devices. I'm rebooting my devices
every day.
I'm rebooting my device every day.
No.
I don't know.
I'm a Linux power user. I believe in rebootless environments.
Upgrading the kernel live.
Yeah, I don't have that one, but in the future maybe. But yeah, development environments are complex, and booting them up takes time, so it's easier just to leave them running. But I do regularly reboot.
Okay.
Yeah, every time my battery runs out. So
he's just teasing me at this point.
So the live database, that's held in memory because that's what Portmaster requires to correctly handle these connections. Because if, of course, the network integration systems, they have a cache too, but that cache is optimized for speed, not for correctness, not for like completeness. So whenever something falls out of the cache in the network integration, which is either a PTO to Linux or a kernel drive on Windows, they will go back and ask Portmaster, what about this connection? And at this point, Portmaster needs to know that this connection is still there, when it started, what the decision was, and so on, to tell the integration with the system that what is going on with the connection. So we need to hold that in memory for as long as it exists, and we keep it 10 minutes after we think it's closed, for one, like showing you, and also kind of knowing what is going on here. So that's kind of what we require technically, and it's kind of that's the live view, and then there's the history, where you kind of we just take that data and change it a bit in a better format for storing long term, and then put that into the database. And that's that data is only queried when you actually search the history. So normally that data is not used. Dashboard also only shows live data, or will in the future also show metrics, which are collected, which means accumulated locally. It's just a number going up, and that's something different. And we'll display that in the future too. But the dashboard is only last 10 minutes, and that's something we debated internally if we want to change it, but we will not, because it's technically complex to have that in a good balance with kind of all the things accessing that, and also in regards kind of to detecting connections when they've ended and stuff like that. And when there's a new connection, for example, UDP is connectionless, so we don't get enough information from the system about these connections, and it's more of a guesswork when they end. So we need to do that correctly, so we can't have it too long, stuff like that. So
and we don't want another database.
Yeah, we're pretty happy with the 10 minutes. That works well technically. It's great for a live view if you want to see what's going on right now, and for everything else we have the history.
But maybe it would be interesting to know, so two things. Interesting feedback that you were not aware that it's only 10 minutes. You were aware that it's not the full history, but not that it's 10 minutes. Maybe we should be more clear about that. So I take that feedback with me. And it would be interesting, TCH, if you would tell us what you would want with more than 10 minutes. Because the dashboard, as you were saying, Danielle, it's sort of like a live view, what is going on now. Like in the end, if you record the history for a year, every country on the map would probably be green eventually. Like statistically, it should be.
Then
so
it
what
value?
Then we would think it would lose the value exactly, or you would need a time frame in there as well and stuff like that. So it would increase complexity a lot. So what you're like would want, it would be interesting for us to know.
Okay, that's a really fun idea. TCH asked if we can create a filter in network history to display all connections from the last boot. So I guess that's boot from the system, not boot of Portmaster, right? But that's definitely something we could figure out. We could add a quick setting.
Cool idea.
To of save. Probably have to get that timestamp from the system though, but that should be doable. System should know when it booted, and that should be extractable somehow. And then we can add that as an option to the UI. That's
cool idea. Yeah. Thank you. And again, if you have more ideas, TCH, in regards to what you need would be for the dashboard, I would love to know, and maybe we will look into that for the future as well. Just to comment on what Mike said over on the Discord, the struggle of the daily reboot is real on Fedora. Yeah, I used to daily drive Fedora as well, and it was a daily routine getting into the office, sudo dnf update, and reboot. But Danielle always said I should do it via the UI, so I did it through the UI and not through the command line.
Until the day where it broke stuff.
Exactly, until the day where my constant living on the edge of Fedora, which is not the bleeding edge, it's not Arch, but it was edgy enough that I'm now on LTS. It scared me away. I'm now on Ubuntu LTS.
The bleeding edge was too bleeding.
Exactly. Okay, so TCH said, cool, thanks. Well then, and if you have any ideas in the future, write us over on Discord. I know TCH, you're on Discord, so just write us there, your ideas. We'd love to hear it, and we'd love to understand what's going on. Modest Beast, I've seen many ads for saving, but a small number of people have used your stuff. But why? Many ads? We are like, I think.
Where?
The Linux experiment. We're doing 2 videos with with Nick every month. That's basically all we do, because we have a long time it's not a contract, but it is. We are talking he's a cool guy, so that's basically why we're at. And I don't think that we have that many users. We are a fairly from a user perspective.
No, but he said, but a small number of people have used your stuff.
Yeah.
So he
thinks that we do
there are
too
loads
many
of ads, but there are not many users.
Yeah, and I think I think it's exactly reverse. I think we do almost no
little
ads.
ads with many users.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, it depends what you consider many.
Yeah.
But as I keep on saying, like we have apparently been the fourth fastest growing like startup on GitHub in 2022.
Open source startup.
On
Right?
GitHub.
Yeah.
There is no closed source.
Well,
Like
we are with the stars. Yeah.
Exactly. On GitHub. So fourth fastest have been on TechCrunch for that reason on that list of hot stuff. And I think we've been the only one in the top 20 without any VC money or something like that. So yeah, wow.
So top growing startup.
Without easy money.
Without
VC
open
money.
source without VC money.
Exactly. And back in 2022. So I'd say like we're okay in that regard. And it depends. It all depends on what you would call many users.
There's growth there definitely, and they measure stars,
Yeah.
of course. And stars can also mean just hype. But still, we are a small company. We're still kind of in the process of growing. So we don't have the size that we want to have to kind of tackle all the things we want. For example, light mode, for example, accessibility in UI, for example, Android, and like that's just the major things that we want to do, and we want to actually grow and go on to Mac and iPhone, but we just need more and more people for that. Because we can't handle that with just 3 people.
Yeah. Maybe to clarify there as well, Portmaster does not send any analytics data. So if you are new to like Portmaster and Safing, if you see an error, like a bug or something, you please send in the debug info. Portmaster does not auto-report or anything. The only thing we sort of like where we can guesstimate how many like that we see growth is like when we push an update, how many people are pulling it and how many terabytes of data and couple megabyte big update creates in our servers. So that's what we see. And of course, like if you're a paying customer, then you have an account with us and we see that. But that's of course different. So Portmaster is like, of course, like in my lifetime, the biggest software like that I was involved in. So for us, it's fairly big. But yeah, who knows? TCH was asking, did we get offers from companies or sponsors? We are getting offers from VCs. So people who want...
no, offers. Offers the wrong...
Not sure if you would... Like, they are reaching out.
They're reaching out.
People want to
They
invest,
want to talk.
And they want to...
They're interested because they saw us on lists.
I would not downplay that too much, but they are reaching out. They want to invest, and we are skeptical. And because VC money, there was one company I was like thinking of, Futo. Louis Rossmann took I think is with them now, who I would have been interested in with talking because I think they support Signal as well. Futo, not sure. So we are like highly critical from whom we take money and highly critical with what influences we take on. But Futo would have been something that I would have been potentially interested in. We talked with them once. Actually talked to Louis Rossmann back then as well. Very, very fun thing. I think it was 1 or 2 years ago, maybe 2 years ago. I don't know. Safing has been in a much different place back then. And we had way less customers back then, but they were not interested at that point. Who knows? Maybe today would be different, but we are currently in a good spot. So
yeah. It's also like the goals of kind of VCs and the goal of Safing really don't align well, and
yes,
that's just what I think makes Safing incompatible for VCs.
At least the ones who are money oriented. The thing with Futo is they want what they at least put on their flag is we give you money so that you don't go through those others who are in for the money, So they're more
they're a really special case.
Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, we're very skeptical, as you said, about that. But
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, but we like where we're at now.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Maybe to iterate on that as well, the thing we're scared of the most is that, as I said, like we don't have any analytics in Portmaster, but as all of you, I guess, know, there is money in analytics data, especially with stuff like ours, where you see like AdBlock Plus, I think really famously is a honeypot. Like AdBlock Plus is selling the data they are blocking,
Well, not
the
not
information
only
about the data.
I think that's one step, but they even went further, and they are actually selling as a service to companies to reduce their effectiveness by whitelisting companies. So they're actually kind of actively reducing protection of users for money.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like, I don't know another company that went that far.
I don't know.
So
We are
that's
scared
really
that,
scary.
that a VC who's in it for the money sees that potential for money and would force us into going that direction. And so this is partly why we're like, well, if
yeah, it's not compatible.
exactly, it's not compatible
Yeah.
with what our users are here to get, and so if we align our interests with the interests of our users, that's the best way to go forward. And this is also the reason why we're introduced Portmaster Plus, because what we saw was that our customers are SPN users exclusively. And so in our mind, what then was like, the people who pay us are paying for SPN. So we need to get SPN better. And what we then sort of like saw was that we sort of like, we're not focusing on Portmaster that much. And we shifted that, I think, a little bit before the summer, when we said, let's focus more on Portmaster. And then we saw, well, there is an option for Portmaster Plus, so that this is all better aligned. We don't want anybody to be forced into SPN if they don't like it, if it doesn't fulfill their need. And I think in my blog post I wrote something like, well, if many people don't get SPN, and if they don't get it, then they don't know what they're paying for, and then they're not like happy with what they're paying for, and so they want they won't continue supporting us. So Portmaster Plus was something where we're like, okay, good, give them what they want and align everything better.
Yeah.
A Modest Beast says best of luck. Thank you.
Thanks.
And Mike is saying some other stuff here as well.
Yeah.
You-
Yeah. So, talking about Portmaster Plus, I think that's maybe a good idea to kind of talk about where we're going next with that. So, the next big thing, the next thing we're working on, a smaller thing, is kind of to further improve how we can show bandwidth. So bandwidth is one of the Plus features. So you already see some of that here and there. Like you have the bandwidth usage of the last, of the connections that are in the last minute. You have that in the dashboard, but we want to actually add a graph so you can see the bandwidth usage
Per
live.
domain. Or per app.
I'm not sure yet where we're at there, but there's something coming in that direction.
Yeah.
So that's coming. But the thing after that, which we're really excited about, and we know a lot of you are too, is we are adding import and export.
Mm-hmm.
So we talked about that 2 or 4 weeks ago. So import export is what I'm actually working on right now, preparing the backend stuff, and Patrick will then do the UI parts to that. And that will go out pretty soon in the beta. So in 1 or 2 weeks, I hope we can start testing that. So when we've tested the import export, which will be free, then we'll build on that and build a system where you can synchronize your settings, all of your settings, with a folder, and maybe later with other things. So you could directly sync your stuff to other services, something
Like Nextcloud, or use SyncThing or something like that.
Yeah. So, but for now, which will be a folder, and you can sync that yourself via your Nextcloud, something, I don't know.
Trezorite.
The Swiss people, Trezorite, or the
Proton Drive.
yeah. What's
If
the
it
other
works.
thing? Forgot that one. Yeah. So a couple things there. And so the sync thing will be a paid feature. So that will be Portmaster Plus, because we think that's something that brings great value and is a convenience feature. So
Yeah.
that fits nicely into what we believe is Portmaster Plus. If you don't have the money and need the privacy, there's a free plan for you. If you have the money to support us, please do so, because otherwise we can't continue our work. It's as easy as that.
Which is
And-
basically neatly going into what TCH was asking, like, why did we do the name change? First of all, it's just like, and he was then explaining that supporter made it clear for him that those are the people who were supporting the project. Like, you're a great person. Not many people understood that. And so we sort of like started splitting it off and thought about, again, like adding something to Portmaster itself. And this is the reason why it's called Plus. And also it makes it easier. So we changed Portmaster Unlimited to Portmaster Pro. And so everything is a little bit shorter and it's easier and it's not that lengthy anymore and stuff like that. So this was partly the thing. Like, TCH, great person. Thank you for supporting like open source development and products you believe in. You are a minority. We both are. Like, I love Daniel, but I don't know. Like, I'm a Signal subscriber. He isn't. So I'm paying Signal each month. He's just using it. which is fine. And you don't have to either if you're like, as you were saying, we don't like, for privacy, it's great that privacy is they're out there for free. And we believe that this is important. Yeah. And this is the reason why what you're saying, like, we're doing this split where it's like convenience is plus.
Yeah, exactly.
And like, so that people who are lazy, who need this little bit of extra to support the stuff that they are already using. Some people are asking us for a free trial of Portmaster Plus, and I'm like, mate, you're getting Portmaster for free. Like, like, how is this not the free trial, you know? No, I want more for free. Well, exactly. But TCH, you're a great attitude, and thank you for being such a great person.
So yeah, that's what's coming into Plus in the near future. Very much looking forward to that, getting it out, and yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Well then, we're almost up. It's almost 4 o'clock. Yeah. I saw this already. This is partly why I'm like, we need to get going as well. I see Mike is writing something on a Discord. Quickly waiting on him there. Earlier he said skepticism is a friend when it comes to VC funding. I agree. To tie that back in, money is always comes with intentions, and so you need to be aware of them. And if the money comes from a customer, the intention is to make the product better, which is a great intention. And this is the reason why we focused on that, and partly why we wanted to get Portmaster Plus in there. Also, TCH, if you're still on the €4 per month plan, I think we have 2 or 3 people who have that. It's like, this is deprecated for us, and you can stay on it. That's fine. No promises. If we can, like, if you cancel it, you cannot renew it like that. It's a €4 per year thing now, and the reason for that is because with like the money we're getting at the end of those 4 year, like with transaction fees and everything,
Isn't that much.
No, and it's barely worth it. And so we're like, okay, good.
It only makes sense to charge
exactly.
really in that price range.
Exactly. So I made the decision a couple of months ago, like €9.90 is the minimum, and only like for the future above €10. So that's basically how that came to be, and why we said, well, it's 40 per year, and of course that's sort of a discount then, €4 per month would be €48 per year, because somebody said like we're not good in math, and I'm like, we can charge you €48 per year as well if you want.
Yeah, it just looks better.
It looks better. €4 per month,
the,
€40 per year.
yeah,
We know
because
that the year has 12 months.
The Master Pro thing does the same thing, where it goes from 990 to 99. So it looked weird to do it differently for the Plus plan. Of course, it's technically incorrect, but yeah, aesthetics, you know. Yeah.
So I will answer Modest Beast quickly first. I already read Mike's, and we're gonna answer that as well. But I think this would be a great end. What Mike was saying. Okay. Modest Beast was asking in regards to privacy is a journey, and that we have to pay for it. Privacy is a journey. I agree with that. And if you're not willing to, like, the whole thing with privacy usually is, as people are saying, like, if you don't pay for it, you're the product. So there needs to be money involved at some point. I like that Signal is free, so it makes it easier for everybody, because, as I said as well, privacy is a we thing. So getting everybody on board free is easier, especially because all the privacy invasive stuff is free already. And I think Threema did not take off because it was paid. And I'm not sure about their business model either. Like, pay once, use forever is not a great business model either, especially if you have ongoing costs.
Yeah. What did they end up doing? Focus on business.
Focus on business, exactly, because they can charge
what
them
what
regularly.
Did Wire do? Focus on business.
Wire as well, yeah, exactly. So
Signal
if you
just has enough money.
If you want your stuff B2C focused, you as the customer need to sort of like think about what are the services you want. I hate, for instance, I stopped paying for my, like, I had GitHub. I was supporting the guy who's doing the TOTP app I was using up until recently. Now he's sold out, and I'm like, well, then I guess the support was not big enough. And I, of course, stopped supporting him at this point via GitHub. But so I guess the expectation, yes, you're right. You should pay at least a bit. But I feel like for us, we sleep better when we know that privacy is available for everybody, and that people like TCH, and maybe like you, Modest Beast. I'd love to have you as a customer as well. People who understand that some need to be like make the development possible. That this takes, of course, money. And that nobody is working for free, and everybody have to pay their bills. I'm like,
there is no such thing as freelance.
Yeah, exactly. Which neatly ties into what Mike has been saying. Maybe there can be a donation fund to give a little more to support the project on top of the monthly subscription. Another fantastic YouTube session. Thank you. Okay. And he says, go home. In regards to the donation thing, this is, I think, what we're thinking about in a yearly thing. And Innovative Dev already said, like, he would be up for maybe, as I said, adopting a node. And as I was sort of hinting at as well, is we would want to have this not as a cost even, but with a little bit extra as well. So that this basically, and maybe we'll auction off, but I don't think that this would be the best idea. But something where we're like, okay, good, there is an benefit for saving as well. And this would be basically something like a donation where you get an adopted server in return. And if you don't want to be mentioned by name, that's fine. But you can name the server. And if you want a Boaty McBoatface server, I guess we would be okay with that. There will be,
only if it's on the coast.
It will. That is true. There will be restrictions. We won't allow everything for server names. We won't allow every location, because not every location is doable. Basically, with privacy laws, we're, for instance, thinking of pulling out the node out of the UK because of current law things over there.
Yeah, still evaluating how we handle that.
Exactly. Still very much evaluating that.
But in a sense, that was the idea of kind of doing the high quality t-shirts.
Yeah.
As more as a yearly airdrop,
yeah.
where it's not kind of, okay, just order your thing, but it's once a year. It's like only one design per year or two. So it's more of a collectible,
Yeah.
and it's higher priced, so it actually makes sense for us.
Yeah.
Because it is as a support. It's not, you're not buying a product, you are getting a memorable item in return of supporting Safe.
Exactly.
So and that's kind of what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
Of course, as we said in the beginning, that's not really how that would work with Spreadshirt, which we're sad about, because we would love to have really high quality stuff and do a great airdrop. Maybe it will happen someday in some way. We don't know yet. But that was the exact idea there, to kind of give you a collectible in return.
Yeah.
For supporting us.
Exactly. Great then. We went a little bit over. Thank you, Mike, TCH, Modest Beast, and Innovator Dev for writing with us and making the Safing Live, I think, a great show. I guess Mike already said so as well. Another fantastic YouTube session. Yeah, and we love doing it. As I said in the beginning, I feel like we always have something we can talk about. But in general, I like to not have too much we want to get out, because we want to interact and be available and be approachable. And of course, you can always join the Discord. The link is in the description, and ask us questions there. But sometimes if there's a wall of death, a wall of text, I'm not reading through all of that. Like, there was a discussion about something in the last couple of days, and I love that people are discussing that stuff here. So if I think Innovator Dev was involved, great stuff. Keep on doing that. Please at me if you want me to actually chime in at one point or something, but I'm not going to read through all the things. So have a good one.
Yeah, see ya. See you in 2 weeks.
See you in 2 weeks. Yes, exactly. And